line because this is quite a personal one today. Are you desperate if you use Asian internet dating sites? An article in today's Telegraph says there's an estimated 5 million Brits logging on to find love. So, does that mean the stigma attached to online dating has now disappeared? And how many of you know someone who has used one of the Asian internet dating services? Feel free to ring in and say, my friend. We all know what that means. Would you rather meet someone online than go through family? Or even in a bar? Or do you think that sites that allow you to specify what caste, religion and colour of hair you want are just a really bad idea? Are you totally against internet dating, or have you tried it and it worked for you? OK, are you desperate if you use Asian internet dating sites? Is it the last resort of the loser in love? Or is it the modern way to cut out all the rubbish and just get straight to the point and find someone who is compatible with you? Where do you stand on this? Would you ever use one? Have you ever used one? How did you find it? Was it a gateway to love? Or was it an open door for nutters? You tell me. 81869 is the text number. Or pick up the phone and give me a call. You know, I'd love to speak to you. 08459 440 445 is the number. Remember, you don't have to give us your real name as well, because this could be quite sensitive, and you might feel that you don't want your friends and family knowing that you went on an internet dating site. So, get in contact with us anonymously via text or email, or give me a call, and let's have a conversation about this. And if you've never spoke to me before, live on air on the BBC Asia Network, then give it a go today. Because is this something that appeals to you? If you're thinking of doing this right now, but you're not sure, I'd love to know what's holding you back. After all, this is the modern way to find love, is it not? Or, as I said, is it the last resort for losers in love? Let's speak to Sijan Shah, who is director of Asian Date Online. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Hal. How are you doing?
I'm very well, sir. Very well. Excellent. Thank you for joining me this afternoon and bringing your expert knowledge of this area to the show. Is it for losers in love? Is it the last resort after you've failed in the club, you've failed at uni, you've failed with introductions from your family, you resort to the .com love?
I don't think it's fair to say that it's a last resort to use online dating. I suppose nowadays people are leading such busy lives. Everyone's sort of engrossed in their careers and stuff, that online dating is a way of getting to meet people whereby you can sort of narrow down your criteria of who you're looking for, and it gives you easy access to meet a lot of people.
But I mean, there are so many opportunities to meet people, Sijan, and Asians do tend to congregate in their own communities, know people, family members who will have friends, etc., etc. Surely, once you've exhausted all of those, you're pretty hard up, aren't you? I mean, aren't these sites just really a dumping ground for people who can't really socially and awkward and can't find love?
If I'm honest with you, I wouldn't agree that sort of everybody's got these routes nowadays. I think more and more you'll see families are spread out over the country. Friend circles are getting smaller. Families nowadays are smaller than they were, say, 15, 20 years ago. I mean, for example, I know my parents would have had like 7 brothers and 8 sisters. Nowadays, families are getting a lot smaller, so the reach of families is also getting a lot smaller. I wouldn't say that online dating is sort of the last resort you should go to. My personal opinion, obviously, we run singles events. We have online dating as sort of 2 ways of meeting people. Family introductions is obviously an avenue that people should explore, and through friends and going out just on nights out and what have you. If you're serious about meeting somebody, you should be using all the platforms that are available to you to meet people. It shouldn't be a case of, first I'll try family introductions, then I'll try using my friends, then I'll try singles events, then I'll try online dating. I think you need to be able to be willing to use a combination of all the sort of technology and sort of methods there are of meeting people out there nowadays. OK, let's speak to
Sunita Arora, who met her partner on the internet. Good afternoon, Sunita.
Hi, Nihal.
Was there a stigma attached to this?
Well, people were quite shocked when they found out how I met my husband, but I didn't actually go online to intentionally find a partner. I was in a chat room, and I was working in the north and my friends were in the south, and that's how we got together. and my husband-to-be he had worked in Japan and was trying to talk to people in the UK, and so therefore we were just all online at the same time, and we started a conversation, and eventually we met, and then eventually we got married. But I found out a lot about him speaking to him online before we'd met. And some of the things he said, I thought, oh, that sounds really interesting. But as I say, it wasn't for the intent to get married. But I think I couldn't have met him if he hadn't been online, because he was in Japan, I was in the north of England. That meeting wouldn't have happened in a bar or restaurant. Right. And so technology actually brought us closer.
What barriers were there in your mind to actually entering into this sphere of meeting someone? Were there any? Well,
yeah, I think as a woman, you talk to somebody online, you think, oh, is it safe? What kind of person is it? And I think that we were both kind of cautious with some of the things we were asking, more than just interest, but, kind of background, jobs, kind of, I suppose you want to have common denominators that you recognise. And you do look for clues as to whether the person is okay or not. I think we probably spoke for about 2 months before we actually met. And it's always a shock, because, the online persona is very different than when you meet somebody. But at least you've got a few common things worked out that you can talk about. But it's always difficult. I think what I found out since we got married, people started to open up to us other couples that said, I actually did meet my partner online, but, don't tell my family. And I think, well, I don't really think it's anything to be embarrassed about, because I think for me it does feel like a modern version of an arranged marriage. It's just technology, and we're just using it, as we would a family network. So I don't see how it's really so different.
Right, yeah, I suppose no one would complain about using a microwave, would they?
Exactly.
saying, how dare you use technology to make your life easy?
Yeah, it's a means to an end, I don't think it,
Did you go through any nutters before meeting the man of your dreams?
I didn't even know it was going to be the man of my dreams. Because when we were online, we were actually arguing, because I was actually typing in Punjabi to my friends, and he said, that's really rude. And I thought, well, yeah, who the heck are you? So I actually thought he was a bit of a nutter and a bit of a loser. Not that I pursued him on that, but then I just said, well, you're such a typical Asian bloke. Why are you actually interfering in my conversation? But then he told me he liked art and travelling, and I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. As I said, I didn't really go online to date anybody, but I think when you're online, inevitably you do meet people that are a bit, strange.
Was there a perception amongst your friends that, Sunita, you didn't need to meet a guy on the internet?
Do you know what? I think with the hours I worked, Nihal, I probably did. Because I didn't have time to go out. I used to work really long hours. My job was, I had to drive quite a lot and cover a region. And most of the time it was spent in my car. I'd be up at 7, I'd get home for 8. It would be dinner and bed.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is go out to a bar.
Yeah, I was too tired. And if I did go to a bar, I probably wouldn't be there for too long. One drink and I'd be home.
And be in a bad mood, I can imagine.
Exactly,
yes,
with a scowl on my face.
Yes, which probably isn't conducive to meeting the man of your dreams.
And I'd say some of the places that I worked, which was east of England and north of England, there weren't many Asian people there, especially Asian blokes. And it was really hard to find anyone. So, I knew eventually, I thought, if I do have to meet somebody, it's going to be online, or I have to go south. Because where I live, there's no one.
OK. All right, Sunita, thank you very much for that. Anonymous text has come in saying, hi, Nihal, I actually met my wonderful husband in an Asian chat room. We met up after talking on the phone and got on really well. That was 8 years ago. We got married 4 years ago and have a beautiful 6-month-old baby. Congratulations. Not many people know the truth about how we met. There was this stigma attached to this way of meeting. I'm so glad we did it, though, as he truly is my soulmate and my best friend. There you go. Sonia said it's another form of meeting people, especially if you didn't like going to uni and you weren't the type to go to clubs. So I didn't really meet anyone. Family started to introduce people and they were not people I was compatible with, so I thought I'd give the internet a go, and 5 years later I'm happily married to someone I found from there. Very, very interesting. Another anonymous text that said, hi, I found love on a flirt site we've been together secretly for 7 months. Now we are deeply in love. That's for someone from Bradford who texted in. 81869 is the text number. You can also email nihal@bbc.co.uk. You don't have to give us your real name as well. I would love to hear from you on this.